Good morning to you too, and welcome back to Grow with Q, a channel where I talk everything, bringing knowledge, awareness, and education to the violated, vulnerable, and struggling youth as a means of dealing with these infractions. To eradicate infant and maternal mortality, we must be careful not to focus on the medical aspect or personnel. Rather, let's educate our young women, our wives and mothers on their rights, because in some remote areas, husbands will not allow their wives to be delivered by a male doctor and prefer that their wife delivers at home, which is life-threatening and unadvisable. We must equally work on governance, because bad governance solves sectoral problems which can be referred to as discrimination. We cannot solve problems of women in the North region and ignore the Northwest or Center region who suffer the same problem. Women and girls must equally be educated on their rights to undergo any means of contraception. There is also the problem of transportation in rural areas resulting from bad roads and unavailable cars. Most importantly, brain drain is a major and neglected cause of maternal and infant mortality in Cameroon. According to Dr. Ojong, yes, our government isn't paying as much as foreign countries may pay, but we must endeavor to serve our country. Let's do something to change the situation rather than complain about it. In addition, our hospitals suffer from inadequate or lack of equipment to care for pregnant women during postnatal or postpartum. Our husbands and men must equally be educated on how to care for pregnant and nursing women. Thank you.
And the next day the baby was born. Sometimes for some of these women, that is the only baby they have. That's the only they have had. They may not have another. Right? I have a problem with maternal mortality as presented like this. I have a problem. Samuel has a problem. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, but I have a problem with maternal mortality presented like this because, first, it reduces it to a reproductive issue, which means it is the doctor that determines, that decides what happens. It puts the healthcare provider that I am in authority. But who should be in authority? The woman. The persons, the community, not me. Right? Secondly, it is not informed, it is not sensitive to the rights of the woman. It is sensitive to what the healthcare provider thinks is right, even if it is against the rights of the woman. Thirdly, I want you to know each time a woman dies giving birth or in pregnancy or a baby dies, it is not just a health problem, it's an insult. Hated women are dying. The single women are dying more than the married women. The unemployed women are dying. So we have an idea of who is dying. And each time they die, it means that we are refusing to protect the most vulnerable women. So if I stand and tell you, yes, what is killing the women is hemorrhage and preeclampsia and infection, biologically, I'm correct. But in reality, what is really killing the women and the babies and the children in Cameroon? Poverty. Okay, now if I say poverty and bad governance, or leadership and governance that does not put the interest of the woman at the center of her decisions. 1 kilometer. There are 3 big mother and child centers in less than 1 kilometer. And in the whole of Mura, there is none. That's leadership. Hello? Yeah. The second thing is financing. I am not talking about the woman's money in her pocket. I'm talking about the money that comes into health. Where does it come from and what does it serve? 90% about that of all health projects in Cameroon that look at the mother and the child are from foreign aid. Foreign aid. And I'll show you the consequence of it. We are here to talk about mortalité maternelle et infantile. And the Ministry of Health just presented, and 98% of her presentation was looking at the mother. not looking at the child. Who realized it? Mortality maternal and infantile, she only looked at the mother, but did not talk about the child. And it is not her fault. I'll tell you why it happens like that. WHO comes with money and says that I want to look at surveillance and gives money for surveillance for the mother. And UNICEF comes and says I'm giving money for surveillance for the child. Then UNFPA says I'm looking at the young girl. So they enter into that space and put each of the groups in a different cupboard. So it looks like the mother is competing with her baby for limited resources. So when policy is being made, everybody makes policy based on who is financing me, not based on what the woman or the child wants. No woman wants to be saved if her child is dying. Every woman wants, save me and my child. Okay? No woman wants, let them fund her health and forget her daughter who is an adolescent. But some funders will fund the daughter. So we need to be able to tell ourselves, even though the money is coming from out, how do we put all these resources without dividing the woman from her child, from her baby, from the young person? The other issue that is killing women is the health workforce. Are they in sufficient numbers? It took me a lot of courage to come back to Cameroon. I would have been paid 50 times better in the UK, okay? So for as long as the health workers are leaving, or they are not properly trained, or they are not responsible, accountable, the women and the babies and the children will keep on dying. So what is really killing the women? And just so that I don't talk too long, I ended at this level. Just one thing. Before you say maternal mortality, that is an end point. 1, 2, 3, 6. If you're a woman and you are working, show your hand. All 6. If you're a woman and you have children, biologically. If you're a woman and you've been to school, the problem with maternal mortality and maternal health is that it reduces the woman to one biological function, which is that of giving birth. So every woman who is not biologically a mother is neglected by the health system. And it reduces a woman's whole life to a few months of her existence, the period when I was pregnant and put to birth. And I say it is very wrong to protect a woman from dying in the labor room only to allow her die of COVID. It is the same woman who survived maternal death, who died of gender-based violence, of COVID, of...
You see, it's very important that team comes here and sees the kind of work that the young doctor has been trying to do, and some of us. Now, Dr. Ojong has just described what Women's Helpline International is all about. It's a holistic approach to this whole thing. Holistic approach. This is what we've been working for, consultant. That's what we're working for. Without which it's no good. So I'm so happy that and believe that this will be the beginning of a long-lasting relationship of information gathering. As Tim says, we need information and we need to move on the data to be, to be as the French would say, to be current with. We thank you, and then too, you see, let the civil society not go to sleep. I mean, you see, you can't leave everything to government, not even in the United States. Now you have heard how Tim has been working in Michigan, and you can see it's not very different from what's happening here. Not much. You see, so the civil society, we have a responsibility. In a café, after the sapeurs-pompiers, that is the firefighters, you have the café, because that's how they come to us. And these issues, these are real life issues. And Women's Helpline International is a holistic approach from bottom up. You see, we now need to change, to give our new community a new mindset and how to move from now, decide. And it was very sad that everybody watched the lady having a 12th delivery and dying. It was very sad, doctor. Very sad. Very, very sad. And that's happening every day. In Tokomberry, the husband will not allow the wife to be examined by a male nurse. To be delivered by a male nurse or a male doctor. She rather dies. You see, conflict with religion, this, that. And so the civil society. So I'm very happy for Julia. Let me shake your hands, because you have been going around here every day we've been going up and down, up and down. It has become a reality. It's real. And Tim is here, and the Minister of Health, the Director of Family Health is here. And you hear Dr. Samuel Otong, a brilliant young gynecologist obstetrician, talking. I've been here. I go to several meetings with him in other places. I know him, and you can hear. This is real life. So, Tim, thank you for coming. And we shall, as I say, this is just the beginning, and we shall keep moving. Consultant, say what? We are on our way to the furthest points of Cameroon, by the boundaries where the women have no dream of anybody